In the beginning, there was no name for God. There was only life. The first humans walked gently upon the earth, not because they were commanded to, but because they recognized the sacred in every stone, every leaf, every breeze. The rivers sang, and they listened. The trees bore fruit, and they gave thanks. The animals walked beside them, not as enemies, but as companions. And in the night sky, the stars were not distant gods. They were the eyes of their ancestors, watching, guiding. They called her the Mother, not a goddess above, but the source beneath, the one who made everything available. There was no need to believe, only to witness. Everything they needed was already here. All they had to do was look, set a clear intention, move with purpose, and the path would unfold. And it did. For in nature, will and need always found each other. The plants gave without judgment. The minerals stood in silence, offering their strength. The animals offered warmth, food, and teachings in their way of being. And the stars were not places to escape to. They were reminders that paradise was already here, in this world, in this breath. But paradise is fragile in the hands of longing. One day someone looked up to the heavens and asked, "What if the true divine is not here, but up there?" So began the stories, great myths etched into the sky, painting gods into constellations. These gods were larger than life, yet acted no different than men, jealous, vengeful, lustful, hungry. But the stories mesmerized, and slowly humanity's gaze lifted. Their dreams drifted away from the soil, away from the roots, reaching toward something higher, something more. Then came the idea, perhaps above the gods, there is one, a single supreme being who governs all others, the sun, radiant and powerful. But soon, even the sun was dismissed, for there must be something greater still, the invisible, the unknowable, the space between the stars. In this unseen mystery, humans found room to imagine a God in their own image, a silent canvas upon which they painted their beliefs, their hopes, their fears. A God no longer found in fruit or fire, but in abstraction. And thus they gave this imagined being attributes drawn not from the earth, but from their own minds: power, judgment, mercy, reward. They traded witness for worship, and so the stories changed. No longer was paradise here. Now it lay beyond, in the afterlife, in the heavens. No longer was divinity something to touch and taste. It became something to yearn for, to earn, to prove oneself worthy of. And to get there, one had to turn away from the earth. To reach heaven, they were told, you must abandon the mundane. In other words, abandon the mother. And so they did. They forgot how to listen to the trees. They stopped seeing medicine in the plants. They no longer saw home in the soil or love in the rain. They called it primitive. They called it sin. They called her wild and dangerous. But the mother did not leave. She remained beneath their feet, in their breath, in the bones of their ancestors, waiting, not for belief, but for remembrance. And now, perhaps, we are ready to return, not to abandon what we've learned, but to balance it, to remember that God is not only above, but also below, around, and within. That divinity is not a place we go after death, but a presence we meet in life, in the growing of a seed, in the warmth of fur, in the stillness of a stone. The stars still shine, and the gods still tell their tales. But paradise, it was always here. It is here, and she is waiting.